Hey garden friends, today I want to start some delphiniums from seed. There is nothing like delphiniums in the garden as far as like tall beauty, and they're just gorgeous and I love them. And I have related before, I love the New Zealand delphiniums. I've also planted, winter sowed some of the Emerald Pacific mix. I checked on them the other day. It looks like I saw a few sprouts. We'll see how well they do. But this time I'm going to use this. And I'll take you along. So let's get rolling. Yes, delphiniums. You know, they're tall. They are really majestic. I've had some gorgeous ones. And I still have some gorgeous ones, but I've had others that got eaten by the gophers. Now, some people will say because they are poisonous, the gophers won't eat them. Well, I have found that is not accurate. And I have had some beautiful ones decimated by gophers. But let me see. What I love is that the colors, there's some beautiful colors. I've had blue, I had purple, the pagan purple from, they used to be called Dowdeswell delphinium. Now it is New Zealand delphiniums. That one was absolutely gorgeous and huge. Pink, I have a pink one right now. It's kind of a lavendery pink, and white. And then I have the two I'm going to plant today or test out is also from Dowdeswell delphiniums, New Zealand delphiniums, and it's called Pink Punch is one and Sweethearts is the other. So let's talk about what they like. They do like cooler areas. Now mine bloom in spring. It is said that they grow in zones, what was it, 3 through 7? I'm an 8B, and they grow fantastically for me. So if you're in a zone 8, don't be afraid to give them a try. I would say one of the keys is having a cold winter. If you don't have, you know, a relatively cold winter phase, like you might struggle with them. I have one out front. It is not one of these types. Something night. I'll have to look it up. Black night, something like that. Anyways, it also, I could tell it grows differently or it performs differently than the Dowdeswell delphiniums and the Pacific mix. So yeah, there's several different ones. Now, they love rich, well-draining soil. They do not like to sit in soggy soil at all. Regular feeding, I add compost or my composted chicken manure. They do need to be staked or tied up or something. They get real top heavy. If it's windy, they'll blow over. The big stalk will break. I'm reading my notes so I don't forget anything. After the first bloom, it's true, cut them back and you may get a rebloom. Last year, I almost got a rebloom. I don't have the long growing season that really is best to get a secondary bloom, but they will put out side shoots. So I'll get the main stalk and then side shoots. It depends on how long it's been in the ground, because then it starts populating, putting out more shoots and more shoots. And so what starts out as a small plant will turn into a bigger plant. And you can dig up and divide. I have a blog post on that. You can also take cuttings, basal cuttings. I have a video on that. And I show you how to propagate them that way. They're super, super easy. It says here, short-lived perennial. I've told you, I've had them for 10 years, some of these plants, and they keep on going. So for me, and it might be just my conditions, they have been a long-running perennial. But don't be surprised if some of them don't behave that way for you. Okay. It says replanting every few years could be the key. Well, if you take the basal cuttings and propagate, it's the same thing. So you can. And starting from seed, I'm going to show you a way. Well, I'm testing this way. I have other ones I've showed, but this one seemed really interesting and promising as far as an easy way to start delphiniums. So many people have said that delphiniums and larkspur are the same plant. They are not. The difference, they both belong to the Ranunculaceae family, but they are botanically distinct from each other. So don't confuse them. Delphiniums are perennials, returning year after year, where larkspur is an annual, completing its life cycle in 1 year, and it will reseed readily. So that makes it seem like it's perennial. Mine, I have them coming up everywhere. I even have little seedlings coming up right here in front of the greenhouse. And I love them. I have pink, I have purple, I have a darker blue, and some ones that are cross-pollinated, so they have pink and blue in the flower. It's really interesting. But my larkspur don't need to be staked like the delphiniums do, and they don't get as tall. My larkspur can get up to probably 4 feet. My delphiniums get over 6 feet. Though some of these I've planted this year, they're supposed to stay shorter. So we'll see how that works. Delphinium flowers are larger, more complex, and densely packed. And while larkspur flowers are more open and delicate, and that is very, very true. So larkspur prefers the cooler spring temperatures to bloom, and that's true. Mine do. I cut them back and they will rebloom, but they bloom earlier, much earlier than my delphiniums. So as delphiniums require care and maintenance to establish. They are a little more work, but once they get going, I've not really noticed them being high maintenance. So both of them provide a vertical interest in your garden. But larkspur is easier for beginners. Oh yeah, and you can seed them in fall and they will come up for you in the spring. They make them very, very easy. So that is what they're like. They both, I don't know, my larkspur grew in sand, so I guess it isn't too fussy. But in the past, I've showed you how I started pre-sprouted delphiniums in coffee filters. I prefer coffee filters over paper towels because it's less likely that the little root that starts really early will get entangled in the weave. I guess coffee filters are more tightly woven, but a lot of people have had success with paper towels. So you choose, pick your poison. So this is a plastic egg carton, and I have poked holes in the bottom for drainage. I was going to start some coleus seeds in here. I did one year and it was fantastic. You do have to pot them up soon, so the bottom has holes, the top does not. So I can close it and it creates like a humidity dome. I have 2 here. I have cotton balls. These are just cotton. And I have a dish with a bit of water. We're going to put this in here. And then I'm going to put I'm going to put, let's say 12 cotton balls in there. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Uh-oh, drop some. That's okay. Now I'm getting them wet. This is cold water. If this was like lukewarm or tepid water, they would absorb it much better. But you want to get them good and wet. Oh yeah. Then squeeze it out. Squeeze it out. I'm going to lay 1 cotton ball, smushed and wet, in each cell of this egg carton. So I'll hurry up through that. I want to squeeze out most of the water. I want it moist, but not dripping wet. Now, like I said, this is an experiment. I haven't done this, but it makes sense that it would work if the coffee filter works. So, now, interestingly enough, back when I first starting delphiniums from seeds, I never refrigerated or stratified the seeds in the refrigerator, cold stratified, and they came up just fine. So these cotton balls are pretty cold because this was rainwater I put in here. I had picked it up from outside. And on each side, I have the name of the color. This one is Sweetheart, which is this packet of seeds from New Zealand delphiniums. And this side is the Pink Punch. So I'm going to put 6 seeds. I have 10 seeds in a packet. Probably should dry my hand off. And I'm going to put these in here. Now, I should have sown these last year because delphinium seeds need to be fresh to be viable. But these are in these air-sealed foil packets, so they're not getting any air. And I had them in the refrigerator to keep them fresher. So I'm hoping that that did the trick. And I am going to just do 1 seed per cotton ball. Now, I know you can't really see down here, but I'll hold it up to the camera in a minute. I'm setting it right in the center of the cotton ball. I got stuck in my finger now. Okay. Okay. So, all is good. They must have packed extra because I think there's more than 10 seeds in here. Nice. Nice to know that they give you extras. Now, I'll do the same with the pink punch, but I'm not going to make you wait here for that. I'll just do it and come back. Okay. So, try not to trip these up, but if you can see in there, I have 1 seed on each wet, damp cotton ball. Now I'm going to fold over an edge of each cotton ball over top of the seed. Now I will confess that doing it on a coffee filter, sounds like it's snowing again, kind of a hail, is faster, doing it on a coffee filter. But the beauty of this method, if it works, is that you can plant the whole cotton ball into soil once it sprouts. You don't have to disengage the seed from the cotton ball like you would the coffee filter. And then planting it in soil. You can just put the whole cotton ball down into a cell. In fact, I could even use this, put some soil in it, and then put the cotton ball on that, and then sprinkle a little bit of soil on top of the seed. That one's not wanting to go over. Come on, fold over there. Now this is just encloses the seed for the most part, keeping the whole thing moist. Now I'm going to close the lid like a humidity dome. Now, someone stated, and I'm going to try it, that put it in dark. And I will do that. I'm not going to worry about cold stratifying them by putting them in the refrigerator. The seeds were already refrigerated. I've in the past had complete success without doing that. Pivot, changed my mind. I thought in this package, I will go ahead and put some potting soil in here, and I will go ahead and seed the rest. So I'll do the pink punch on this side. Let me put P on it on this side, and then S on the other. P, and then S. And we'll see how they do. Okay, so now that that's P. So I'm going ahead and see how many they actually gave me in here. Yes, when I come back, I will share how I plant up the ones that sprout. I'm being very positive about this in the cotton balls, and then we'll plant them up. Now, the thing about the cotton balls that I found interesting when I was researching it a little bit is there is like sugars and what have you in the cotton balls, and so that actually feeds the seedlings as they start. So I thought it was very interesting, the benefits of seed starting in cotton balls. Okay, that was 5 more. I thought I saw 1 more in there. No, it's just debris. Let me peel the whole thing open so I'm sure. Okay, so they were from this end forward, so there's 1 not in here. I could put this Dusky Maiden in there. Let me put a D on it here. D. Okay. They're all in the pinks. I think the sweethearts are shorter, and that's the difference. So they're shorter growing ones. I have never tried the sweethearts before. Their seeds are actually quite a bit larger than the others. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow, they gave me a lot of extra seeds with those. So I'll put these 3 back because I don't know what I'm going to do. The pink punch were all gone, so that's all good. Now I'm not going to top this with any soil. I'm going to put the cork on top. I will push the seeds down so there's firm contact with the soil beneath. You want firm contact. And then I'm just going to fill. I made a divot when I pushed down with my finger, and so I'm just going to fill that divot with the cork. Now what the cork does is it inhibits fungus, and it acts as a covering, because I put it deep enough in here that it's covering them without being heavy. So we'll see how this all works. Now, when I use potting soil, I do not pre-moisten it because you can get air pockets that way, and I don't want air pockets, not good. So I will set this in a tray of water, and I will let it absorb for as long as it takes to fill it up. So now it might be these little divots that hold this closed. Might be full of debris. So let me see if I can get it to latch. If not, I'll set something on top. Okay, it did fine. All right, I'm going to put this one in a tray of water over here. It is cold in here at night. It stays cool in the day, but it will be fine. I could take it and just put it right on my light rack. I was thinking maybe I should do that. I could get it over with and done with and just do that. I probably should just put them on the bottom rack with that one. Yeah, so we will see how well they do, and I'll come back and we'll pot them up when I do that. So until then, we'll just wait. Okay, here we are, a few weeks later, and I have a confession to make. I had let the cotton ball delphiniums dry out. We had a few days of very warm weather. My office is in the upstairs of my house, and it gets very hot up there, even when it gets barely into 65 degrees. Well, I shouldn't say very hot, but you know what I mean. Much warmer. And so I didn't keep track of the cotton balls and the moisture in them. And the ones that sprouted, let me show these to you. You see this? This one here had sprouted. Now it looks like I can salvage it. It's still green. See that? Now this one is already dried out. I have some water in the bottom. It just wasn't soaking up. Now I'm going to pot these up and see what happens. But this one is still moist, and look, it looks like it can be saved. There we see. There's a few of them that look like they might maybe make it. I don't know. They're not completely dried out. The leaves on them. I think those are the only ones that show any signs of making it, and that was on the sweetheart side, not on the pink punch side. But I will say that the good news is the ones that I planted in the potting mix here, I had, let me see, which side is this? Oh, I'm trying to read it, it's dark. Okay, this is the sweetheart, and then this is the pink punch on this side. So only one of the pink punches came up. Now I can transplant this one, the pink punch, and see if these others, sometimes they can just take longer to germinate. And then the sweetheart side has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, that's pretty good. Out of 6, 5 of them germinated. So they did even better than the ones that did in the cotton balls. And because of the soil, it retained moisture better. So that was a win. That is my delphinium test. So would I do it again in the cotton balls? Now I did this way because I didn't know how many would germinate because I've had these seeds for a year. Delphiniums really need to be fresh to get good germination. So I thought, you know, this would be a good test for them. But I'm going to go ahead and pot them up. Now, I don't have any potting mix made. It's my usual, my turkey compost. This is pretty wet. I had to go out in the rain to get it. So I'll sieve it, get all of the stuff out of it, the sticks and big chunks. When I was digging this up out there, this is an area beside the road and my entrance garden. It was a spot that we had that I could put a pile of the compost out of a truck. We get it by the yard, which is a lot. I do go through it in the year. This is taking a little more to sieve it because it is wet. I was meant to get out there and get some brought in before it rained again. But what I was going to say was a bunch of hollyhock seeds fell there and they were already germinating. A little bit of warmth we had them germinating, but I dug them up. I didn't want hollyhocks in that area. And I get plenty coming up from seed. That's the beauty of hollyhocks is once you have them and they go to seed, they will come up. Some people find that annoying because they come up very, very well. And then you got to pull them up. But they were such tiny seedlings, it was nothing to just dig them up. In fact, the seedlings are probably in here somewhere. Also, a lot of people, I have a whole video on the 5 tips for growing great hollyhocks. And a lot of people say they have to go get some rainwater. I want to water them in. Well, can't grow them because of the fungus they get, etc. I show you how I do it. Mine do get fungus. That fungus is in the air everywhere. The spores are everywhere in the air. They are all over the hollyhocks that grow wild through this area. There was a lot of houses that weren't lived in for a long time. They were just like vacation homes that were rarely visited. Many of those are sold, but all around them was hollyhocks. And hollyhocks had the mildew or the fungus. It's called rust, really, on the hollyhocks. So, anyways, I'm not going to get away from it, and I'm not going to use a systemic. That is one way that you can keep it under control, is to use a systemic. And I just won't do that because also hollyhocks are a host plant for, I can't remember which butterfly, I'll have to look it up. Anyways, they're a host for that, and the butterflies will lay their eggs on it. They'll eat the leaves and hatch, and I don't want to harm those butterflies, which we do have some of them. Okay, I added some perlite to my mix. I didn't make very much yet, but I'm just going to pot up these ones here. I wonder if I should put them in one of these 6-packs, reuse 6-packs. Yeah, I think I will. And then I can pot them up again because I don't know if they're going to take. I could leave them out here in the greenhouse. We are going to get some very cold nights, so like down into the 20s this next week, and then after that it's going to warm back up again. So for that, I'm going to take them inside, and then after those nights are over, those days are over, I will bring them out here in the greenhouse. And even though the nights will get down into the 30s, the Delphiniums will be fine in that. They do just fine in cooler weather. So let me put my glasses on. So here's one of them that looks like it might make it. The seed shell has already come off of it. It really looks sad, so I don't know. But I'm just going to put it in here, and I'm going to put the teeniest bit of soil on it. Part of the plant, or the cotton ball, is showing. Let's see. This one, I don't think it's going to make it, but it still has a light green part, so I'm just going to go ahead and give it a shot. It can't hurt to see. Okay, all these other ones look like they're toast. This one looks like it might have made it. The plant is still green. A little bit of soil. Whoops, got some on that one that I didn't want. Okay. And this one looks the most promising of all. So only 4 are going to fit in here. But that's okay. I can put some of these others in here. Now this is the one on this side was pink punch, and so I'll write that on there. Pink punch. And I'll have this video to refer back to. That is the only one that is pink punch. The other are all the sweetheart. So I'm going to go over to this. These I'll just put in the compost bin. I will save this because I can start some more. I've got some more seeds here that are fresher. And so here is this one. Seed tray. I don't know. I can't see the bottom to see if any of them, if any of the roots are going through. Okay, so this side that's pink punch. So I'll go around. Maybe I'll do the pink punch right here too. I don't know. I think I'll just go ahead and do all the sweethearts and see. Now, can you see what I'm doing here? I've got my small, let me point you down just a hair. Okay. My small trowel, I put a link to it. I love this thing when it comes to transplanting. And I'm just going to dig out very gently this one. And it has little roots. And I'm going to make a divot the size of that little piece of soil and put it in it. Now I'm going to do over here the same. Make a divot the size of the soil. And set that down in there. So now the roots have plenty of room to go on down. I didn't see any going through the bottom of this. So now I will put this in here and I will give it a good water. I have to go out and get some water. I will be right back. So out there I have 5-gallon buckets and all kinds of containers, galvanized tubs, collecting rainwater. There's nothing as good as rainwater for your seedlings, your plants, whatever. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4 left. I have 4 of those. I could also put them in these little containers, which are about not much different in size than those 6-packs. So I'll do that and I'll set them next to it. I will, let me see, this side is the sweetheart, right? Yes. Sweetheart, sweetheart. I have gotten where I keep forgetting to mark things. After all my videos of showing you how to mark things so easily, I have a whole batch of tomatoes, which I'll have to go, I think I did them online or on a video, so that I'm not sure which ones they are. And you think you're going to remember, and you don't. So, okay. Now, just going to plant these up the same as those. So I'll just scrub through this really quick. So that is my delphinium update and the potting of them up. Now you see, well, that one's not very big. See, I just pushed them down in there. And now they'll have plenty of room to grow and get bigger. And as I said, I'll take these in, put them on my rack in my office, and then next week, when the temperatures level out a little more, then I will bring them out here and they'll be fine in the cooler temperatures. They are protected in the greenhouse from harsher weather. But in the interim, now since we're updating on seedlings, I want to show you these. Get a load of these. These are the Dollar Tree petunias. And then this is my red gems on the end. But look at those. Aren't they magnificent? I just potted them up a week. No, these ones probably have been 2 weeks. They were inside for a little bit, and then I put them out here. I was going to show you some others. Now, these ones were potted up last week. So look at these. Now, aren't they absolutely gorgeous? These were the ones that were on the smaller side in the tray that I potted them up. I think this was the tray. I still had more in here, but they were the tinier ones. So when I potted up the first tray I showed you, I left the smaller ones in that combined tray and then put them back on the light rack, and they grew bigger, and then I potted those up and they just have ballooned. I mean, they just have taken off with the repotting. As well as the paludism daisies that I got on my trip to Green Acres, they are doing gorgeous. I got them potted up, and soon I can put those out in the garden. I'm thinking along the Rose Alley, the sides. I saw a picture on the back of Heirloom Roses catalog. Beautiful. I loved it, and I had the paludism daisies all along the pathway. So, and next up, I'm going to share with you what I grow as companion plants with my iris. They bloom about the same time and all of that. So come on back for that, and we'll get talking what you can plant with your iris for a maximum spring bloom. I'll see you then.